Hey,
Hi,
Kura, how you doing?
I'm fine. How are you, Jimmy?
I'm good, I'm good. It's been busy, sort of we're celebrating Bel Air's out, but the Tower's out here in the US before the UK as well. And the documentary's out. So it's been a busy season, but I'm feeling very happy and blessed.
What? First of all, the pictures behind you, amazing. Where are you?
Yeah, like this is my apartment in LA, and this is from a place called Evu. Check them out on Instagram. Like they do a lot of Black African art, prints. You get them in. You can get them delivered in frames, and guys, we like a lot of the dark colors and gray. I was like, you know what? This season, I want color in my apartment. So basically, the mansion of the from Bel Air has influenced my apartment. What I mean? When you next come to LA, you have to come around for some jollof and some tea and biscuits, you know what I mean? And honestly, I've got like it's like an art exhibition, but I love the energy that it brings, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I love the one behind you. You did say I'm holding you to so many things you just said. I'm definitely coming to LA. Thanks. We'll be
Great,
bunking with you. Second,
great.
you said jollof. Jimmy, I'm a Ghanaian. I'm not eating your jollof unless you get me Ghanaian jollof. I'm just letting you know
It's
now.
true, it's true, it's true. I forgot, I
Okay.
forgot, I forgot. Okay. Let's go to the Caribbean. Let's meet halfway. We go to the
Let's meet
Caribbean. We
halfway.
we get some oxtail, some red snapper or something.
Okay,
I
I
was
can go.
worried then. I was like, what did I say? The
I'm just
interview has been ruined. Ruby, we're gonna have to just cut it off. Sorry, it's not
Come
happening.
on. Ruby's on my side too, because she's a Ghanaian. She knows what we
Oh,
our stomachs can't work with these things. But
okay,
anyway,
okay.
I'm so happy to speak to you because the minute I heard you were cast as Geoffrey in Bel Air, I was backflipping. I just thought, okay, this is insane. This is amazing. And then not knowing what to expect, but being thoroughly, I won't say surprised because, hey, it could be good, it could be bad, but I wasn't surprised. I was reassured and just warm with the fact that it's actually such a great adaptation or evolution of the original story that we know and love. Now you're getting season 2. Now you've done season 2, I should say. What's been the most satisfying kind of reward this role has given you?
You know what? There's a couple of things. The most satisfying, I think you've just touched on it, is that we've sort of broken the curse. I don't see this as a reboot, but like you say, an
Yeah,
adaptation of a iconic classic. In some ways it shouldn't work, and we shouldn't have dared to touch it. But I think that's because of the genius of Morgan Cooper. When you look at that trailer from Bel Air, suddenly it just hits you. Go, of course, like this is what it would look like now in 2023. And so I'm really proud that not only we were able to be successful with an idea, because everyone has good ideas, but sometimes it's about the execution of it. And I think we worked really hard every step of the way. It was made with love, respect, and with the nuance towards the original, without it having to abide by it and follow it step by step. And so it's great that people are getting that. They're getting those little Easter egg moments. I love the fact that the pilot for us is basically the opening theme song, because the original, you just hear the song and then he knocks on the door, he's there. Whereas we get to show in season 1 how he left Philadelphia and arrived in Bel Air. And then the second thing that I'm really sort of proud of is just how people are moving towards Geoffrey, because me and Morgan Cooper, we talked about we didn't want to do the original, like we didn't want him in a butler's costume or anything. So what does it look like now? And we talked about him being an equal to Uncle Phil. So, and then Morgan gave me his backstory that he's originally from Jamaica. He came to the UK. He's been doing some stuff. I don't want to give any spoilers. So I was like, that's brilliant. I know people like that. I've grown up with people like that. But again, representation is important, yeah, Kua. I wanted to really create an authentic Geoffrey to the version that I think if you grew up in Chelsea and you might be middle class, whatever, you would really identify with the original Geoffrey. I
yeah,
did, but I want to create someone that actually, if you're from Stratford, Hackney, you
yeah.
know what I mean, South Brixton or whatever, you would really identify with my Geoffrey.
Also, I wonder if you had a conversation about how Geoffrey is swagged out, because you know what's stressing me out? As long as I've known you, like we're homies, right? No
Yeah.
blood relation. However, you're like my brother. So when I'm seeing thirsty women talking about Geoffrey, it's literally like, like when you've got a little brother and you're like, that's just my little brother. And then one day
Yeah.
he has hormonal kick in and he starts to glow up and get muscles and beard, and all of a sudden it's like your friends are like, oh, where's your brother? And you're like, get out of here. That's how I
Akua, you're
feel.
killing me. You are killing me. You're killing me. I love it. People, I'm a grown man, you know, but exactly what, you're not the only person. My sister says that. Chizzy says it. Even London Hughes says it out here. You know what? You know what? I received the flowers. I mean, I didn't know a black man can blush, but I've been blushing quite a bit since season 1. I didn't know, you know, the term snack. I see that a lot. I try to not pay too much attention to social media, but it is crazy, you know. I think, you know what, the trick is LA Sun, doing something that you love. And you know what, I think I'm one of those actors, you know, I feel like I've always seen myself as a leading actor, but I've always gone against type, that I've done a lot of different characters. So I think you've either seen me in a period piece with Idris playing Valentine with some big Jericho, you know, and looking a certain way, or you might see me as Crackhead Mick, you know what I mean, Rev, you know, and so it's really nice. Like Malik was all right when I was on Hobie, but I feel like Geoffrey represents where I am in my life. Do you know what I mean? He represents a mature, you know, Jimmy Akingbola type of character. He's not me. I tell everybody I'm nothing like that, but I've definitely always loved clothes, and we've got an amazing costume designer called Sylvia. She's Nigerian. Sorry, she's not Ghanaian, but
all right.
She really tested because I feel like I've got a good eye for clothes and details for myself, but she really tested that and said, this is the mood board. And I'm not lying, Akua. When I looked at this mood board, it was everything I'd been thinking about for Geoffrey, you know, and she's peppering in people like Oswald Boateng stuff, you know what I mean? So there's I think it's episode 2 or 3, you see him in a nice green Oswald Boateng number.
Yeah. It's very sharp. I mean, I've cheated. I've seen a lot. I've seen this
Nah.
season. Been cheating. But
how did you cheat?
Why? Listen.
I'm only joking.
Like Geoffrey, I have my ways and secrets.
Exactly. And I sent you the links.
But what I actually love what you're saying, because I think yes, we talk about people coming to their own, and I think women have more focus on their looks and so on. I think guys, you do go through that as well, obviously. But there is something to be said about you stepping into who you are and the whole package. And I definitely think that the UK doesn't do our Black creators justice when it comes to really celebrating and empowering and really seeing to the heart of what we can bring to the table. And I'm saying I'm not an actress, but it is that generally that UK feeling. And I don't know how you feel like, if even as you said, the LA air, getting and doing what you love, but being in LA, being an American, doing a role like this, and not to absolutely disparage any of the roles that you've done before, because you've got a solid career, but there is something about being recognized on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
How does that feel? What does that?
Yeah. No, first of all, thank you. Honestly, you summarized that so well. For someone that I love the UK, but I've always been aware of, I think, some of the restrictions, the glass ceilings, the issues when it comes to storytelling and telling our stories, you know? And yeah, I've still done them. There's a version of an actor, you see something, go, I see what you're trying to do. I'm just going to try and do my best to bring out the other elements that are not there. So there is something in this role and this show where it's told by us, you know what I mean? It's learning also from its mistakes in the past, you know what I mean? In terms of some of the things that went on. And that thing where it can be truly celebrated. You know, it's rare that we have shows and characters like that on UK TV, you know? Like, I don't want to get into it, but like, you know, even like Adrian's Lester's, I loved Hustle, but like, it was limited. You didn't really get to get into who that character is. And we always love Luther, but there's that element of like, well, where is his family and stuff like that. And I think with this, we're getting into the other aspects of the Banks family, of Geoffrey's family, and it's been told in a real sort of detailed, nuanced way, and it feels great. And then it makes me want to see more of that in the UK. I feel like I can't wait to see Dreaming Whilst Black. I feel like that's probably going to be one of the first things really pushing the boundaries in that direction. And but I do think the UK can learn from that. And I think that's also trusting your creators and looking at a lack of experience, not as risk, as actually talent. In America, whether you've done one thing or 20, 200 things, if you've got talent, it does embrace you very quickly. I call it's one of the best places that you can go from the first floor to the 10th floor in the space of a minute, you know?
It's really good to hear. And from your experience being on both sides, it's valued information. Hopefully they'll listen. What's also amazing and it's kind of serendipitous is that you've got your documentary Handle with Care about being in care. You're in BEL AIR about someone being cared for by someone else. I mean, what's working in your world, man? But also the joy that Handle with Care has been brought to an American stage, where to American audiences or global audiences, it's where that this narrative that in the UK had been lost is only just starting to come to the forefront, and now it's being brought to America, so that they can also see what we went through as Black Brits. Because I think there's misinformation and a misunderstanding about the racism that we suffered, or the experiences that we suffered, or and not that because your situation wasn't about racism per se, but it was the kind of immigrant families coming over, not being able to cope with the structure and systems in place in the UK at a certain time, having to give their children away for whatever reason. What have been the conversations with people that have seen it in America?
You know what? I think it's, I don't know, I call it God's business, like everything aligned. I think the fact that during the pandemic, I was really in talks and the thought about pressing go on the idea for the doc is something I've been having in my mind for quite a few years, but obviously it's very personal. You're like, am I ready to share it? And how do I want to share it? But it's crazy that I got the green light to do the documentary 2 weeks before I booked BEL AIR, you know?
Wow.
It's crazy. And then within the research of doing Handle with Care, my documentary, I learned about Benny Medina being adopted, you know? And then he was adopted by a white family in America.
Oh.
So that's what the Fresh Prince of BEL AIR is based off of. So I'm like, wait a minute, I'm doing a documentary about care, talking about there's a lack of positive care stories. And actually I grew up being inspired to be a Black man and an actor by the biggest care story in the world, which is the Fresh Prince of BEL AIR. You can't beat it. And so when I brought it out here and I did a couple of screenings, what I loved is that it really hit me that this story is universal. And it's not just about me, it's bigger than me. And that the Americans could relate. And it wasn't just about being in care as well. There were some people being brought up by their grandmas or their uncles. And it was like it really addressed the issue of care for them. And then also, I think it made them sort of talk about the differences in terms of how the care system is here in the US and how expensive it is. And so there's lots of conversations continuing to be had, but I have to thank Peacock for believing in it and acquiring it, because I did think it was an important story that needed to be shown globally. And then creatively, they were already thinking about what they're going to do with Geoffrey's stories, because I don't want to give a spoiler. So when this came, it was just like, well, this makes sense. It just completely makes sense. And also, I just think, like you say, it's a time now to really have these stories, right? And share them in a different way. You know, I believe in like trying to show the different perspectives. You know what I mean? Some parents have to give up their children for different reasons. It's not always that they were a terrible parent or they were on drugs. There's all different types of stories. And I think it's very important to show those different stories and let people know that their version of care, their attitude towards care might be coming from, I don't know, inconsistent information over the years.
Jimmy, that's our time. Thank you so much. I could talk to you for hours,
Thank
as you know. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well
You look
done.
amazing. Are you going to Cannes?
Yes, are you?
I will see you soon.
Yay!